Blackhead prevention usually works best when it is gentle, steady, and realistic, because blackheads usually form slowly as oil, dead skin cells, sweat, leftover product, and everyday friction collect around the opening of the pore over time. So the smartest approach is not to attack the skin, but to keep it calmer, cleaner, and less congested without creating fresh irritation. A simple routine is often more effective than an exciting one. Cleanse the face in the morning and again at night with a mild cleanser and lukewarm water, because very hot water can strip the skin barrier and leave the face feeling tight, dry, and more reactive. Use your fingertips rather than rough scrubs, abrasive washcloths, or stiff cleansing brushes, because blackhead-prone skin usually responds better to calm handling than to aggressive rubbing. If you sweat after exercise, yard work, housework, hot weather, or a long day under sunscreen and makeup, it helps to rinse or cleanse the skin as soon as practical, because sweat mixed with oil and residue can sit on the skin and add to that heavy clogged feeling. Avoid squeezing, scraping, pinching, digging, or trying to force blackheads out at home, because that often causes more redness, swelling, irritation, lingering marks, and regret than the original blackheads ever caused. Choose non-comedogenic products whenever possible, including moisturizer, sunscreen, makeup, and hair products, especially if your hair touches your forehead, temples, or cheeks. A lightweight moisturizer can help because skin that becomes too dry often becomes irritated, and irritated skin makes people impatient, and impatient people are exactly the ones most likely to stand too close to a bathroom mirror and start making decisions they would not defend the next morning. If you use over-the-counter acne care, it is usually smarter to begin slowly with one well-chosen active ingredient instead of layering several strong treatments at once. Salicylic acid may help keep pores clearer, and adapalene may help reduce clogged pores over time. But patience matters more than panic. Improvement usually comes from steady use over time, not from one dramatic weekend of treating your face like a chemistry experiment. Remove makeup before bed. Change pillowcases regularly. Clean the things that touch your face often, like phone screens, eyeglass frames, hat bands, and helmet straps. Keep heavier oils and styling products away from acne-prone skin when you can. Try not to rest your face in your hands for long stretches while reading, thinking, worrying, driving, scrolling, or politely listening to a story that should have ended 15 minutes ago. Stress management matters too, not because stress alone causes every blackhead, but because stress often leads to poor sleep, rushed cleansing, more face touching, more picking, skipped routines, and the kind of late-night bathroom behavior that always feels strangely productive until daylight arrives with a very different opinion. Diet does not need to become a courtroom trial, but hydration, regular meals, moderation, and decent sleep support better daily habits overall. If blackheads are stubborn, widespread, mixed with inflamed acne, or simply not improving despite a sensible routine, professional guidance may save time and frustration. Prevention is rarely glamorous. It usually looks like repeating calm habits, reducing friction, choosing products the skin can tolerate, and remembering that steady care beats dramatic interference most of the time. And that same principle, the principle that not every small inconvenience needs to be poked, pushed, corrected, improved, or turned into a public emergency, would have saved Gilbert Gil Ramsey of Fox Hollow Retirement Court in Central Ohio a tremendous amount of cheerful humiliation if anyone had explained it to him before the annual summer porch sale and pie social transformed him, against his will and entirely because he was standing too close to a folding microphone, into the live public announcer of 27 yard sale tables, a disputed cherry pie ribbon, and a runaway inflatable Uncle Sam that spent most of the afternoon trying to enter the baked goods tent like a patriotic ghost. Gil was 79 years old, retired after 40 years as an assistant manager at a regional hardware chain, and so naturally devoted to practical order that he once sorted the batteries in the utility drawer by size, date, and what he called emotional trustworthiness. He lived with his wife, Beverly, in a brick duplex with a white porch swing, a little cement goose by the front step dressed according to season, and a garage so neatly labeled that neighbors borrowed ladders mainly to admire the tape. Beverly was 75, a retired second-grade teacher with bright eyes, excellent posture, and the kind of warm patience that lets a woman enjoy her husband's flaws without ever quite letting them win. She loved Gil sincerely, but she also believed that a man who complained too much about other people's event planning should occasionally be forced to stand in the middle of an event and meet his own opinions face to face. Fox Hollow was one of those American retirement communities where everybody claimed to value quiet and then spent half the year forming committees, booking singers, planning raffles, and asking one another to bring slow cookers in the name of fellowship. There was cards on Monday, walking club on Tuesday, Bible study on Wednesday, movie night on Thursday, potluck on Friday, and every July there was the summer porch sale and pie social, a full-day event where residents set up little yard sale tables outside their units, then gathered near sunset under the big pavilion for homemade pie judging, iced tea, and the kind of gentle neighborhood gossip that keeps older communities from floating apart. Gil disliked the event in principle because it created what he called uncontrolled object drift. Every year, he would say, somebody sells a lamp that should have been buried with the 1980s. Somebody prices a puzzle like it's estate jewelry. And then half the neighborhood wanders around, holding casserole dishes they don't need. Beverly loved it because it was silly, social, and full of old American optimism. There were always wicker chairs, cookie tins, ceramic ducks, mystery cookbooks, strange art, lamps with fringe, patriotic aprons, sugar bowls with no sugar future, and people saying things like, "It still works if you wiggle the cord." Gil's closest friends at Fox Hollow were Russell Boone, age 80, retired auto mechanic, hard of hearing in one ear and impossible in both; Anita Caro, 73, former church administrator with a voice like polished steel; and Mel Fisher, 78, widower, retired school custodian, lover of suspenders, lemon pie, and any situation that might become funny if left unsupervised for 7 minutes. The regular announcer for Porch Sale Day was a woman named Patty Wynn, who handled the microphone from the pavilion, called out raffle reminders, directed pie entries, and generally stitched the whole day together with the brisk confidence of a person who enjoyed useful noise. Patty was 68, formerly a bank teller, permanently organized, and known to carry 2 pens, a whistle, and 1 extra extension cord in her tote bag, because the world has patterns. On the morning everything went wrong, Gil and Beverly were on their porch setting up a small sale table with 3 hardcover mystery novels, a crock pot they no longer trusted, a tray of Christmas mugs, and an electric carving knife Gil kept insisting might still appeal to somebody serious, when Patty marched up the walk holding her phone and looking annoyed in a very efficient way. "Gil!" she called. He didn't even look up. "No, don't start. I don't have to. Your tone already started." Patty planted one hand on her hip. "My sister just called. I need to drive to Columbus for the day. Her furnace is acting demonic, and the repairman won't be there until noon. I need someone on the microphone." Gil turned slowly. "That is not me. You know everyone here. That is not a qualification. You speak clearly. So does the smoke detector. You already complain about how the event is run. Today is your chance to serve rather than mutter." Beverly put both hands around her coffee mug to hide the smile she could already feel arriving. Mel, who had been browsing the Christmas mugs without any intention of paying full price, said, "Oh, this is better than pie," Patty continued. "All you have to do is announce the hourly raffle, remind people when pie check-in starts, call folks to the pavilion, and if anyone's table blows over in the wind, say something calm." Gil shook his head with the despair of a man being drafted into a war he had criticized from the newspaper. "No." Patty thrust the spare microphone and schedule into his hand anyway. "Wonderful. Knew I could count on you." And then, before argument could take shape, she was gone down the sidewalk like a woman pursued by responsibility, and not at all sorry she had just created more of it for someone else. Beverly looked at the microphone in Gil's hand and said, "This is exactly why you should never stand still near confident women." Gil held it like an item from a crime scene. "I refuse to become the voice of this sale." Then set it down. He opened his mouth, closed it, and looked out across the little row of porches, where card tables, lawn chairs, plastic bins, and aging lamps were already multiplying in the sun. "Someone has to tell people the pie submissions need labels." Beverly nodded. "There he is." By 10:30, Gil was in the pavilion with a plastic folding table, a fan aimed badly, a little battery speaker, and a hand-lettered sign reading, "Welcome to Fox Hollow Summer Porch Sale and Pie Social." The microphone crackled when he tested it, which he took as a bad sign from the universe. He tapped it once and said, "Can anyone hear me?" Russell shouted from 3 porches away. "Unfortunately, The whole lane laughed. That annoyed Gil, which made him sound even more like himself, which made people trust him immediately. "Fine," he said. "For those of you already holding things you did not come out here intending to buy, the 11 o'clock raffle basket tickets are now available at the pavilion. Please also note that the pie registration table opens at 1, and no, a whipped topping situation does not automatically count as pie." More laughter. Beverly, 2 rows back under a striped umbrella, nearly choked on iced tea. Anita leaned toward her and whispered, "He's excellent. That's unbearable." For the first hour, the rolls stayed manageable. Gil called out table numbers where new items had arrived, reminded people not to block the path between buildings B and C with folding chairs, and asked twice that no one place glassware directly under the inflatable Uncle Sam at the pavilion entrance, because if symbolism falls, it falls hard. The Uncle Sam in question was a 7-foot patriotic decoration donated by someone's grandson, tethered by cords and humming with fan air. Gil distrusted it on sight. "Any celebration that needs to be plugged in to keep standing," he muttered, "should know its limitations." The sale itself, however, had its usual community beauty. Mrs. Donnelly was selling embroidered pillowcases and peaches from her nephew's orchard. A retired dentist had laid out golf clubs, old radios, and one lamp shaped like a trout. 2 sisters from Unit 8 had a table of costume jewelry arranged by color intensity. Children visiting grandparents zigzagged between porches with lemonade mustaches and dollar bills folded into tight, hopeful fists. It was all lively, funny, harmless, and deeply vulnerable to weather. By noon, Gil had found his rhythm. He was not cheerful like Patty. He had become something else, a dry field marshal of suburban commerce. "At Building F," he said into the microphone, "there is now a working toaster available for $3, and for legal clarity I use the term working in the broad human sense. The woman at Porch 7 would like it known that her patriotic napkin ring set is complete and innocent. Whoever left a Pyrex lid on the community bench, please reclaim your future." The residents loved him. They loved him the way older Americans love anyone who sounds mildly disappointed by nonsense, yet still willing to help it continue. By 1 o'clock, even people who had no interest in the raffle were lingering near the pavilion just to hear what he'd say next. That was the first clear sign that the day had shifted from event to story. The second sign came with the cherry pie dispute. The pie table opened at 1 under a canopy beside the pavilion, where local volunteer judges would later taste entries for Best Apple, Best Berry, Best Cream, and Open Class. The system was simple. Bring the pie, fill out the card, note ingredients, place it on the numbered table. This would have worked perfectly if not for Mrs. Jeanette Hollowell and Mrs. Naomi Pierce arriving at exactly the same moment, each carrying what she claimed was the superior cherry pie in the county. Jeanette was 77, wore pearls to daytime events, and believed in crust with the conviction of a minister. Naomi was 79, laughed too loudly at her own jokes, and added almond extract to things just to make conversation. The trouble began because both women insisted their pie should be entry number 7 because 7 is lucky. Gil, hearing the rise in tone from the microphone table, looked over and knew immediately that pie had ceased being dessert and become identity. He walked over with the clipboard because men like Gil never actually want involvement until involvement needs doing, at which point they transform into it with suspicious speed. "What's the difficulty?" he asked. Naomi pointed with a pie server as though giving courtroom testimony. "She is taking 7 by superstition," Jeanette snapped. "I have used 7 for 6 years and placed third twice," Naomi said. The volunteers at the registration table looked as though they would rather sort bees. Gil held up one hand. "No pie receives spiritual preference by integer." The women stared. So did the volunteers. He continued, "The next available number is what you get. Fate has no reserved seating at this table." The crowd nearby, which had sensed conflict and quietly drifted closer, burst into laughter. Even Jeanette had to look away to hide a smile. Naomi said, "Well, I still want it noted that my crust is flakier." "Ma'am," Gil replied, "you may write a private statement to history, but today you are number 8. That should have ended it." And mostly it did, except now half the pavilion was repeating, "No pie receives spiritual preference by integer," as if it were scripture. Beverly later said that was the moment the whole day fully stopped being recoverable in the best possible way. 2 hours later came the inflatable incident. The weather had been warm but breezy, the sort of bright Midwestern afternoon that looks harmless while quietly loosening everything not tied with conviction. The inflatable Uncle Sam had been swaying for an hour in a way Gil disliked. He kept glancing at it between announcements. "That thing is thinking," he muttered once, which made Mel almost fall off a lawn chair. At 3:15, just as Gil was announcing the half-price porch hour and reminding everyone that no one should attempt to buy a pie before judging was complete, the left anchor line of Uncle Sam slipped free from the decorative bench leg to which some optimist had tied it. The whole giant inflatable lurched sideways with surprising grace, like a patriotic man deciding to faint. The children screamed in delight. The adults screamed for different reasons. Uncle Sam drifted toward the pie canopy, one padded hand reaching as if to bless the blueberry entries. Gil dropped the schedule and shouted into the microphone. Nobody moved toward the pies, which, because microphones are cruel, came out much louder and more heroic than intended. 3 men from the porch sale tables ran in anyway. One grabbed the line, another grabbed the blower base. A woman in a visor grabbed nothing at all but pointed very energetically. The giant figure swiveled, bumped the side of the canopy, and sent a row of paper voting slips skittering across the grass like anxious snow. Beverly later said the scene looked like George Washington losing an argument with dessert. Gil, still on the microphone, because once a man like Gil is handed a microphone, he starts thinking through it, said, "If you are not actively holding America, please step back." The entire place exploded with laughter, even as the rescue continued. Kids clapped. Russell shouted, "I've got the hat!" Even though no one needed the hat separately, Mel was laughing so hard he couldn't be trusted near cords. Somehow, through a combination of panic, hardware store not knowledge, and shame, the men re-anchored Uncle Sam before he could fully body check the cream pie category. When the whole thing was finally stable again, Gil leaned into the microphone, looked at the shaken but intact pies, and said, "Let the record show the Republic remains standing." The applause that followed was so loud you would have thought he'd landed a plane. After that, there was no going back. Fox Hollow residents now saw the whole event as a live performance of practical dignity under recreational pressure, and Gil was its unwilling star. He did not become looser exactly, but he did become quicker. He sold the raffle baskets better than Patty ever had, mostly because he described them as a decent chance at someone else's stronger shopping judgment. He introduced the pie judges as 3 brave citizens with no visible allergies. He reminded people to stay off the judging table cords by saying, "If your sandal can touch a cable, your curiosity has gone too far." Laughter followed him like a second schedule. Then came the act that would seal the legend permanently. The cake stand collapse. It happened just before the ribbon announcements, when the dessert volunteers were moving a side table of sheet cake slices and someone set one leg unevenly on the grass. The table tipped once, corrected, and then, because the afternoon had chosen its genre already, tipped again at exactly the moment a little girl in pigtails asked if she could have extra frosting. The tray slid. the slices leaned. One corner of chocolate sheet cake began what can only be described as a slow, public migration toward the lawn. Gil saw it from across the pavilion and, acting on some buried instinct for civilian rescue, reached the table in 3 fast steps and caught the tray with both hands before the whole thing went into the grass. But because he was still holding the microphone, the speaker amplified every sound of the maneuver: the scrape of metal, the little grunt, the collective gasp, and then Gil's perfectly clear, exhausted statement: "Oh, for heaven's sake, we cannot lose cake after surviving the flag." The room came apart. People stood. Beverly had tears rolling down her face. The children cheered as if watching an action movie for grandparents. Russell pounded the picnic table so hard his sunglasses bounced. Even Jeanette and Naomi stopped glaring over cherry pie to applaud the rescue. Gil, standing there with the rescued cake tray in his hands like a baker under siege, realized all at once that the event had fully escaped any original category. It was no longer a porch sale, no longer a pie social, no longer a fundraiser. It had become a story people would tell at coffee for years, and he was in the middle of it with frosting 1 inch from disaster. So he did the wisest thing available. He surrendered to it. He set the tray down safely, picked up the microphone properly, and said, "All right, new rule. No item in this event may become airborne without prior committee approval." The laughter rolled like thunder under the pavilion roof. After that, every announcement landed bigger. When the pie winners were called, he read them with the seriousness of a state ceremony. When Jeanette won Best Cherry over Naomi by 1 point, he said, "History has spoken, and it appears crust has prevailed over almond ambition." Naomi laughed so hard she almost dropped her ribbon. When Beverly won second in open class with her pecan pie, he said, "This result will not influence household negotiations, and any suggestion otherwise is defamatory." People howled. The raffle winners cheered. Uncle Sam kept humming. The cake survived. The sunset began to soften everything into gold. By the time the final table was folded and the last pie tin packed into a car, the residents were glowing with the kind of happiness that only comes from an afternoon that goes wrong exactly enough to become memorable. Denise hugged him when she got back from Columbus and heard the recap. "I leave you 1 microphone and 1 inflatable patriot, and you create a civic legend." "I created nothing," Gil said. "I merely prevented collapse in multiple categories." "That's exactly why it worked," Beverly said. Back at home, long after the dishes were stacked and the day's sun had fallen off the porches, Gil and Beverly sat with 2 glasses of iced tea in the little front swing while the summer air cooled around them. Fireflies flickered low over the grass. Somewhere down the lane, a screen door snapped shut. Uncle Sam, now safely deflated and reportedly folded into the community closet, no longer threatened anyone. For a few minutes, they just rocked in silence. Then Beverly said, "You know what my favorite part was?" Gil exhaled. "There are entirely too many possible answers to that question." "No, my favorite part was when you stopped trying to remain above the event and finally joined it." He looked out at the dark and thought about the pie numbers, the runaway voting slips, the cake, the microphone, the laughter, the absurd dignity of trying to hold a community together with announcements and decent shoes. "I don't think I joined it," he said. "I think it trapped me." Beverly smiled. "That's one way to describe joy. That is an irresponsible definition, and yet here we are." Another minute passed. Then he said, "Funny thing is, once it got chaotic enough, I quit trying to preserve myself." "Yes," she said softly. "And then it got easier." "Yes." He tapped 1 finger against the side of his glass. "I don't like how often you're right. That's because I'm married to you. I practice." Then, after another pause, Gil said, "You know, it's not so different from skin. Beverly laughed before he even finished the thought. Oh no, we are not doing this. Why not? Same principle. People see a small problem. They squeeze, scrub, overdo, make it bigger, and turn it into a public event. Better to be steady, gentle, and stop before the whole thing drifts into the pie tent. Beverly laughed so hard she had to set down her drink. You have just compared blackheads to a runaway inflatable Uncle Sam. I'm not saying the situations are identical. No, she said, wiping her eyes. Only spiritually related, which is somehow worse. He smiled in spite of himself. Still true. Annoyingly, yes. And maybe that is the real connection between preventing blackheads and surviving ordinary life without exhausting yourself. Not every little flaw needs to be attacked. Not every irritation improves under pressure. Not every problem deserves a bigger reaction just because it feels urgent in the moment. Sometimes the wiser answer is gentler, slower, steadier, and less dramatic. Clean what needs cleaning. Reduce the friction. Keep the routine simple. Do enough, and then stop. And if the pie still wobbles, if the cake still slides, if Uncle Sam still takes a run at the blueberry entries, then laugh, help where you can, and let the whole thing become a story instead of a wound. Gilbert Ramsay never became carefree, in any permanent or saintly sense. He still distrusted extension cords, still believed tables should be leveled before emotion entered a room, and still maintained that no pastry should ever need defending from patriotism. But after the summer, he accidentally became the emergency voice of Fox Hollow's biggest day and discovered that public silliness, while inconvenient, was survivable and sometimes even useful. He carried his dignity a little looser, his wife's laughter a little more gratefully, and his own urge to overmanage with much less authority than before. For a man like Gil, that was real progress. And for Fox Hollow, it was even better, because it became one of those stories older Americans tell over pie. Iced tea, folding chairs, and porch lights. A story about marriage, community, embarrassment, laughter, and the comforting truth that people can still surprise themselves long after they think every useful part of them has already been labeled, sorted, and put away for good.